Hi everyone! My name is Jess Kobryn and I am Flagler's Title IX Coordinator and Equity Investigator. And in my spare time, I like to craft. Today, I'm going to teach you how to make a surgical mask. And a lot of places are in need for surgical masks right now. Personally, my mom is a hospice nurse and she texted me and asked if I could make a lot of masks for the families who are visiting patients and for the nurses to help their masks just last a little bit longer since there's a lot of need for masks right now. So I decided to make a little tutorial just in case you had the skills or wanted the skills or had a sewing machine laying around and were a little bit bored. Hobby Lobby stores, Joann's, Walmart has fabric, so there are still some fabric stores that are open, at least in Florida. I'm not sure about where you're from. It's fairly simple to get the supplies needed to make masks, or you might have them laying around your house. I know that I had some supplies laying around my house that I can make about 6 or 7 masks, and then I went and got some more fabric. But if you are not feeling well, do not go get fabric. Please use your common sense and all of the CDC guidelines. Some of the supplies that you'll need to make a mask are a sewing machine, an iron and an ironing board, some scissors, a ruler, 2 different types of fabrics, some interfacing, which is optional but helpful. I use a 1/4 inch elastic, but you can use several different types that I will talk about, and then pins or clips, which I will also reference in the video. So to get started, we're going to start with 2 types of two fabrics. I'm just using cotton fabric right now. I always use a pattern for one side, and then I'm going to use a solid for the other side. So it's really important to use 2 different fabrics for both sides because you have to know what is the outside and what is the inside, because if somebody puts the mask on backwards, it's useless, completely useless. So we're going to cut both of these fabrics. So I'm going to use yellow for the back side, and I'm going to use some lemons for the front side. We're going to cut both of these fabrics at 9 inches by 8 inches. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay, so I doubled my fabric over just because I knew I wanted to make more than one of these. We only need to use one pattern and one of the yellow side per mask. So I'm going to put these to the side for now. So the CDC is saying that fabric masks should be a last resort, but the hospitals are still using them, and they really are in need of them. So instead of just using 2 layers, so use just 2 layers of cotton, some people are putting a 3rd layer of cotton in between. I have chosen to use an interfacing, and so this can be bought at a lot of different types of stores. This is called a fusible interface. Because this is a super lightweight interfacing, I'm actually going to use 2 of these. So I'm going to put one on the yellow and I'm going to put one on the lemons. I cut this fabric 9 inches by 8 inches, and I'm going to cut this 8 inches by 8.5 inches, and you'll see why whenever I put it on there. So I have 2 pieces of interfacing and 2 pieces of fabric. One is different than the other because one's going on the outside and one's going on the inside. I'm going to lay this on my fabric. And now I'm going to just iron it on. So I've turned on my iron. It doesn't have to be that hot. done ironing. So I have my 2 pieces of fabric. I have the interfacing on the back of both of them. It's not necessary. It's just something that I like to do, especially because the interfacing that I bought is a lighter interfacing. And then whenever you sew something together, you need to put them what's considered, it's called right sides together. So the pattern side, and so this would be considered the wrong side since it has the interfacing, and this would be considered the right side. I put the right sides together. I prefer clips over pins, but you can use pins. So I have a pin cushion full of pins. So you could pin them together if you want. Like I said, I prefer clips, so I'm going to clip mine together. This is the elastic that I'm going to use. I'm going to cut 2 pieces of elastic at 11 inches. I've already cut one at 11 inches, and so I can just measure the other one and cut them at 11 inches. These will go on the inside of your mask. So I actually clipped a little too early, but that's okay. I can just unclip them. I'm gonna fold my mask open, and I'm gonna place these. And so this is gonna be one that goes like around your head, around the back of your head. And so I'm going to go ahead and clip each side together. So I'll show you what that looks like. So a little less than an inch from the edge, I'm going to place each elastic, and you can kind of see it on this side. Once I've placed those 2 pieces of elastic, I'm going to fold it back over. Once I fold it back down, I'm going to clip the elastic in place. So I could pick it up. The elastic is still in place, exactly where it needs to go. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to open it up as much as I can. I'm going to make sure that my elastic is flat, and I'm going to place it on the other side. If it's easier for you to place and clip, that's okay, or place and pin. So I'll do that on this side. So I will place it, and I will clip it, and then I will fold there we go, fold it back over. And then whenever I combine these 2, see here, I'm just gonna hold it right where it's clipped. I will take off the clip and then just reclip it. So I'll do that again on this side, take off the clip and reclip it. Great. So when I sew it, I want to keep a hole open to be able to turn it right side out. And so I'm going to place 2 clips side by side, because that's just going to remind me that I need to do something different there. It's also where I'm going to start and where I'm going to end. I'm going to get my sewing machine now. Okay. So it's the back side of my sewing machine. But I'm just going to go ahead and sew. So this is what it looks like on the front side. I've just turned that corner. There's an elastic piece right here, remember, that I have clipped in place. When I unclip it, I'm going to need to hold it in place and then sew over it. And then I'm also going to back stitch back over it just to make sure that that elastic is going to stay in place. So I see these 2 coming back into play, And so I know that I'm supposed to be doing something different, and that something different is I'm just leaving a gap open in order to turn it back inside out, or right side out. So I'm going to get closer to it, and then I'm going to back stitch 2 or 3, front stitch 2 or 3. So here is the mask. I can take these clips off because this is the hole right here that I'm gonna kind of pull the mask through in order to have it be right side out. All right, well, I will iron it right now. Okay, so it's nice and straight and crisp. I still have the hole here, which is okay. I'll sew that in a second. But before I do that, I'm gonna make the pleats that you usually see whenever you have a mask or whenever you see a mask. I'm gonna make 3 pleats. So I'm gonna start in the very center, in the middle, just right across from each other, and I'm going to just pinch. I'm gonna pull, and I'm just gonna fold over. And I'm going to either clip or pin. So again, I think clipping is easier. I like clipping better, so I will clip this. You can also pin it. So I have that first pleat here, so you can see it's pleated in one spot. And then I'm going to do 2 more of those. So I'm going to do 1 above and 1 below. So this is what we have. So it's pleated here. Again, the back is just still yellow. When we sew, we have to make sure that we do not sew the elastic to the mask. Okay, I'll show you how I do that next. All right, and there you have it. So here is the mask. So the front side is the lemons, the back side is the yellow, and they will put it around their head like so. Happy sewing, and I hope that this has been really helpful for you. And hopefully we'll see you back on campus very soon. Bye. Here are some final takeaways from this video. Do not make masks if you're not feeling well. Wash the masks before you give them away. This pattern is easily manipulated to make custom masks, so edit as you please. There are different types of masks. This is just one option.